Welcome! Tonight's tale takes you high above the clouds, where ordinary flights become journeys into the unknown. Join Emma as she boards Flight 217, unaware that her fellow passengers might be from the other side. So buckle up for Flight of Fear, a ride that might just take you to the afterlife.
Logan International Airport in Boston was bustling with activity. Passengers hurrying through terminals, announcements echoing through the halls. Among the crowd was Emma, a frequent flyer who was used to the chaos of airports. She was on her way to visit family in California, eager for a short break from her hectic work schedule. As she approached her gate, Emma noticed an unusual stillness in the air. The usual chatter and hum of the airport seemed muted. The gate agent's voice, typically friendly and welcoming, was flat and emotionless as she announced a delay for Flight 217. Passengers grumbled and settled into their seats, some pulling out phones and laptops, others trying to catch some sleep. Emma sighed and took her seat near the window, gazing out at the tarmac. The plane, a sleek white jet, seemed almost too still, as if it was waiting for something. After a long wait, the passengers were finally called to board. As Emma walked down the jet bridge, she felt an inexplicable sense of dread. She shook it off, attributing it to travel fatigue. The flight attendants greeted her with polite smiles, but there was something unsettling about their expressions, too stiff, too practiced. Emma found her seat by the window and settled in. As the plane taxied to the runway, she noticed a strange fog rolling in, obscuring the view. The fog seemed unnaturally thick, almost alive as it clung to the plane's wings. The plane took off, and soon they were cruising at 35,000 feet. The cabin lights dimmed, and passengers began to relax. Emma put on her headphones, trying to watch a movie, but a sense of unease kept gnawing at her. She glanced around, noticing that many of the passengers seemed off. They sat too still, their eyes glazed over, their breathing shallow. A sudden jolt shook the plane, and the lights flickered. Emma looked out the window and gasped. The fog was still there, clinging to the wings, swirling in unnatural patterns. As she watched, she saw something move within the fog, shadowy figures, almost human-like, but twisted and wrong. The intercom crackled to life, and the captain's voice came on, sounding distorted. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are experiencing some turbulence. Please remain seated." Emma's heart raced as she glanced around the cabin. The other passengers were still eerily calm, staring straight ahead. She turned to the man sitting next to her, but he didn't respond, his eyes vacant. Panic surged through her. This wasn't normal. She unbuckled her seatbelt and stood up, making her way to the front of the plane. The flight attendants were nowhere to be seen. As she reached the cockpit door, it swung open, revealing an empty pilot's seat. The controls moved on their own, and the instruments blinked erratically. Emma felt a cold chill as she realized the plane was flying itself. The shadowy figures from the fog began to seep through the cockpit door, their forms solidifying into grotesque, ghostly apparitions. They moved towards her, their faces contorted in silent screams. Emma stumbled back, her mind racing. She had to get off this plane. She turned and ran down the aisle, past the lifeless passengers, towards the emergency exit. As she reached the door, the apparition surrounded her, whispering in a cacophony of voices. "You can't leave. You belong to us now." Emma screamed, pulling the door handle. The door flew open, and she was sucked out into the night sky. For a brief, terrifying moment, she felt herself falling, the cold wind whipping past her. Then, everything went black. She awoke with a start, gasping for breath. She was back in her seat, the plane cruising smoothly. The passengers were as they had been before, engrossed in their movies or sleeping. Emma looked around, her heart pounding. Had it all been a dream? As the plane landed safely in California, Emma hurried off, eager to escape the nightmare. But as she walked through the terminal, she noticed a reflection in the glass. Her face was pale, her eyes dark and hollow. And as she glanced back at the plane, she saw the fog still clinging to its wings, watching her. The incident left Emma shaken. She never flew again, haunted by the memory of the shadowy figures and the feeling of being trapped. The legend of Flight 217 spread among travelers, a tale of a plane that flew itself, carrying souls to an unknown destination, a flight of fear that never truly ended.